Hey, KG and Ringy here. We're out detecting. You're going to come along with us today, and we're going to show you what we dig, why we dig it, what it sounds like, and what we're looking for. Right, KG?
That's right. We're going to find some nectar today, huh?
We're almost standing on a nectar sector right now.
I know. I noticed right below our feet, we have some old big rocks, and that tells us there was a foundation here because there's like a perfect line of big rocks. We'll show you what to look for, give you some tips and pointers on the machines we use, and hopefully we'll dig up some awesome nectar.
Let's go.
This is kind of a iffy hit. It's kind of jumping all over, but this keeps jumping up into the 60s. So we're going to dig it up and see what we got. A lot of times old shotgun shells will read just like this. They'll kind of jump around 50s, 60s. Probably an old shotgun shell. Oh, check that out. Old hunk of rolled up lead. I've been digging a lot of shotgun shells. This kind of sounded like a shotgun shell. That's why you got to dig them targets. I mean, if you're in an old area, you're going to dig a lot of iffy signals. But this is cool. This is an old-time piece of lead. It's all kind of rolled up. But in the 1800s, in the Civil War, the soldiers used to carry little, lead ingots with them. They'd melt them down, make their own bullets. So that's a pretty cool find.
Oh, there we go. Right here. Oh, that is perfect. This is a perfect example. I'm walking around in this field. There's iron everywhere. I'm getting hits like 28s to 35s on this dial here and this readout. And look at this, 80, 81. It's just screaming. This is definitely going to be something besides iron. Awesome. That is one of the best signals all day because there's just not a whole bunch of them. So I'm kind of walking around cherry picking, waiting for something that's even up into the 50s, but this is in the 80s, which is even better. That could be like a silver dime coming right out here. And back when this town was here, they'd have been using seeded dimes. So if this is a seeded dime, I'm gonna run over and jump on that hay bale, and then I'm gonna dive off of it. And whatever happens, happens. That's the way it is. Sometimes you just gotta commit. All right, nice big plug here. We're out in a farmer's field. He's okay with it. I didn't want to damage the whatever's in here, so I pulled this giant plug out and I'll just roll it back in when I'm done. No harm, no foul. Ooh, it's in here, it's in the clump. Oh, this is old. It's not a coin, but it's some kind of old, heavy brass piece. Could have been the end of like a walking cane maybe, or I wonder, there's so much dirt in here I can't tell, but it could be threaded. Maybe it was part of a, man, I don't know. Could have been part of a chair or something. I don't see any threads. Heavy brass round knob of some kind. Could have come off of an old, I don't know, a dresser or something maybe. Don't know. There's definitely some rust inside it though, so whatever it connected to had to be iron. That's what I'm thinking. Weird mystery find in the pock.
I'm thinking this is probably iron, but there's a lot of iron. There's a lot of square nails, horseshoes, old nuts and bolts. So sometimes that iron audio will fool you, but I'll tell you what, if you're out in a nice field with not a lot of hits and you hear a loud signal, sometimes iron really deep sounds pretty good. You hit that iron audio, you can tell right away if you got iron or not. Yeah, look at that. Giant nut, probably off of a covered wagon or something. Hey, that's cool stuff. Gotta keep that stuff. That's neat. Probably hand forged by a blacksmith.
Yeah, I gotta stop and dig this. I'm just cutting across a field. This is a good example of like mosquitoes chasing me. I was just cutting across this field, and it's a good example of not just turning your metal detector off and walking to your vehicle to get a drink. I always leave it on. I was just cutting across here, got a really solid signal. I don't think it's a coin, but it sounds really good. It's in the 60s, so could be like a mini ball or something. Gotta be right on top of it here. Oh, more horse tack. Weird. Check this out. There it is. Looks like a horse stepped on it. It's all bent. That's pretty cool though. It's still got the thing, still functions, the little tab. And you can see where that iron is just like worn away, where it clipped onto there years ago. Functional piece of horse tack. Another ring for the ringmaster right there. Do you see? I see you.
Check this out. Now I know there was an old town here at one time. When you come around and you see a bunch of good-sized rocks in lines kind of scattered around, you know it was an old foundation, because that's what they used in the 1800s. They used rocks. They didn't have concrete and cement. They used rocks for their foundation. So when you come across rocks, you're going to want to slow down and spend a little bit of time around there, because I guarantee you there's stuff there.
Yeah, now finally, I hit about, I don't know, I bet I hit 30 iron signals in a row, 22, 35, whatever. They were all just nice and solid, but I've been walking over them, kind of cherry picking, trying to find something a little different. And this is ringing in the 50s and 60s, but it's all bouncy. So it still could be iron, because there's so much iron, even the iron audio. I turn that on, and it's tough to tell because there's iron everywhere. So I'm just gonna have to dig this signal. Could be a piece of horse tack, like a ring made of iron or brass. It's tough to tell, but with something reading that high, you gotta check it out. Okay, it's right here. I'm going in. My guess is it's probably still iron, but it might be something interesting or something bigger than just a nail. Oh, it's still in there. Okay. I think I predicted this, didn't I? A round iron ring, piece of horse tack.
I know this is going to be another square nail probably. Check that out. Square nail. When you start picking up a lot of square nails in an area, you're in a good area. You slow down, slow the swing of your detector down, and start picking out that stuff. I mean, there's going to be something good in here. Just take your time, work through the square nails. eventually something awesome is going to come out of the ground.
Oh, no wonder it sounded so good. Look at that. That is super thick, solid brass. It's a gear. I don't know what that came out of, but it's all bent up. Man, that sounded awesome. Just like a coin. It was hitting like 80 or 81. I thought for sure I had a dime, but this was way down there. Solid gear. It's what I call a Richard in the pock. Yeah, that actually sounds pretty darn good. This sounds better than the last one. It's a little more solid. It's not bouncing so much. It's staying in the high 40s, low 50s. Could be a nickel. That would be really awesome. If this is a shield nickel, I'd be pretty much satisfied for the day. See if it's still in there. Nope. I moved it out. Man, it just sounds like a nickel. It's too good to be true, isn't it? Ah, shotgun shell. Old-time shotgun shell. About the size and density of a nickel. Sounded almost exactly like it. The only difference between this and a true nickel is this bounced from about 49 to 53. It kind of bounced around. If you had a nickel and it was that close to the surface after I took it out, it would probably stay right on 52 or 53 and just be super consistent and not jump. But this jumped about 4 numbers back and forth. Little subtle things like that you get used to after a while with a machine, but still, you got to check it out because you never know. If it's laying funny, it might read goofy from whatever angle you're hitting it from. So that sounded pretty darn good. Had me fooled.
This had a little different sound to it. You know, this sounds pretty good. It's really deep, and it's got a high pitch in there. I mean, you kind of with this AT Gold, you want to listen for that high pitch. It might be a very, very faint high pitch, but that's a good thing. Consistent high pitch, you better be digging. Let's try that. Oh, that's it. Old piece of lead. This could have been a fired bucking ball or something that hit something hard, smashed it flat. You can tell it's old because it's got that white crusty patina on it.
Oh, there's a good signal right there. Nice and bright. Definitely got to dig it. But if you'll notice, we've been digging out in these fields all day long. We were using giant shovels and then we'd fill the holes back in. But these were just farm fields, you know, and we didn't want cows or any other animals or anything to trip and break their ankles or whatever. But right now I'm in a yard. This is meticulously mowed down low and I don't want to make a big mess. So I'm going to use a little shovel I'm going to dig a nice neat plug and put it back. And I don't want to make a big mess like out in the field and then just kind of kick it back into the hole and stomp it down. Got to take extra special care in a yard. Oh, it's right there. Okay. Now here's another trick. This is kind of shallow, so I'm not even going to dig. I'm just going to see if I can find it with this without even digging. And I can. So I know it's right here. I don't even have to dig a big plug. I'm going to just make a little slit in the ground. Kind of lift up a little. And I might be able to get this out without even really digging a plug, and I can see it right there. I don't even need to go any further. Slide this out. Don't know what this is, some kind of weird aluminum, little aluminum cap, maybe off of, almost look like lipstick, but it might be a little too big. Whatever it is, that was it. Now I can just press this back down, like that. Voila! It's like I was never here. Can't even tell.
A little tiny hunk of iron. I just dug out a little tiny chunk of iron. That's why I jump up, recheck the hole, because a lot of times you're going to get mixed signals, but you keep at it, keep checking your holes. You get all that iron out of there, you could have yourself a giant gold coin. Look at that. Another old shotgun shell. Very well could have been an old coin laying next to a chunk of iron. Always check your hole.
Oh, listen to that. Hammering perfect hit right here. This is what a coin sounds like. 81, 82. Might just be a memorial penny, but man, that's clean. And it's in the good part of the yard here, not out in the farm field. So I'm going to dig a nice, clean plug. Right here. All right. Let's see if I can just get in here without even taking it out. Oh, I can hear it in there. Here, we'll lay it over here. Here. We'll just lay this here. Take some of this dirt out because it's down there a ways. Okay. Oh, there it is. That's why it sounded like a penny. Solid piece of copper pipe. Now we have no mess on the ground. Nice, neat grass. We take this, Pour it right back in. Put that in there. Put the plug back on. There we go. Minimal disturbance. There we go. Wish that would have been a coin. Boy, that sounded good. Yeah, it's a little bit deeper. Try to go down here, below it. This is kind of tough ground to dig in. It's not like a place where you can take a nice, dark, black soil plug and it'll come in. If you get down deep enough, it's fairly moist, so it should grow back okay. Look at that. There it is. Put that plug right back in. Bottom of a light bulb. Old-time light bulb. Cleaning up the earth one object at a time. Perfect. Little rain. Will be good as new.